Hello. You are watching the film Hunger, not just a drama, but a real test of nerves. It is a story about how a conscious refusal to eat turns into a political act, and the human body into an arena of struggle. The events unfold in Northern Ireland in 1981, a region which, despite its name, is not part of the Republic of Ireland but is under British jurisdiction. This circumstance became a spark for local patriots. Since the late 1960s, the Irish Republican Army has been waging a guerrilla war: rallies, riots, street clashes, terrorist acts. More than 2,000 people have died in this protracted conflict. In response to the violence, London took a radical decision: IRA members would no longer be considered political prisoners. They were now ordinary criminals. But for those who fought for freedom, being equated with rapists and murderers was a slap in the face. Protests erupted in response, and acts of disobedience broke out one after another in prisons. Prisoners demanded recognition of their political status and the privileges that came with it. The director shows not only the suffering of the prisoners, but also those on the other side of the bars. One of them is prison guard Raymond Logan. His morning begins with a frightening routine: washing, putting on his uniform, checking the street, and checking the underside of his car for bombs. At work, Raymond jokes with his colleagues and then calmly washes his blood-stained hands in the sink. It's a normal day. Meanwhile, a new prisoner arrives at the prison. His name is David Gillen. As soon as he crosses the threshold of the prison, he refuses to admit that he is a criminal and flatly refuses to wear a prison uniform. Gillen is placed in a cell with Jerry Campbell, a fellow political prisoner. They resort to various acts of defiance. One of them is turning their cell into a sanitary hell. But their imagination does not end there. The protesters build mini-dams out of breadcrumbs and pour urine so that it flows out from under the doors, right at the guards' feet. The prisoners conduct underground correspondence, from the outside and to the outside. Notes are hidden in the most unexpected anatomical nooks and crannies. Before visits, prisoners are allowed to change their clothes so as not to spoil the meeting with the smells of protest. In his cell, Jerry excitedly opens a secret package and takes out a hidden radio. It is their connection to the outside world. The news reveals that the government is ready to make concessions. Prisoners may be allowed to wear civilian clothes. While some dream of freedom, others dream of earthly pleasures. David, wrapped in a blanket in the semi-darkness, indulges in passionate release, looking at a smudged erotic photograph. One day, a campaign of intimidation begins. The guards work together to drag resisting prisoners out of their cells and into the showers. In the showers, sanitary terror begins. Prisoners are shaved bald, shaved, and washed. The goal is not cleanliness, but to break their spirit. We see Bobby Sands, young, emaciated, but not broken. Forcibly washed, with a new haircut and fresh bruises, Bobby meets his parents. His father's eyes are full of bitterness, his mother's face frozen in suffering. A rare religious service is held in the prison, a moment when prisoners can gather together and at least whisper about their plans. Bobby, smoking a cigarette rolled from a Bible and secret notes, burns old messages, but on one surviving scrap of paper he sees a strange message: negotiate. Soon, news arrives. Under pressure, the prison administration is making concessions. Political prisoners are allowed to wear civilian clothes and are transferred to more comfortable cells. It seems that resistance has borne fruit. But what does the system do when it senses weakness? The answer is not long in coming. The prisoners stage a new act of sabotage. They smash furniture and make noise. The administration draws its conclusions. Men in helmets, with batons and shields, enter the walls again. Everyone gets their dose of education. And at the end of the line is a humiliating search. No one changes gloves. There is no time for humanity. After the beatings and humiliation, Bobby is left lying on the cold floor, bleeding to death. On the other side of town, in a nursing home, prison guard Raymond Logan brings flowers to his mother. He has no idea that his time is up. An IRA fighter sneaks up, shoots him in the back of the head, and calmly walks away. His son's blood covers the table, the flowers, and the face of the old woman, who does not react. Meanwhile, Bobby meets with Father Dominic Moran. Their conversation is not just a confession. It is an ideological duel. The priest begs him to give up his hunger strike, his struggle, his death. He talks about negotiations, about compromise. But Bobby replies that he always goes to the end. When he was young, he and his friends found a calf in the river, broken, wounded, suffering. The other boys hesitated, not knowing what to do. But Bobby made a decision. He drowned the animal, putting an end to its suffering. This act became a symbol for him. A leader is someone who takes on pain to spare others from suffering. That was true then, and it is true now. He declares that he will begin a new hunger strike. And he will see it through to the end. If the authorities do not give in, he will die. Not for the sake of death, but for the sake of an idea. The cameras are soaked with urine. A cleaner in rubber boots slowly wipes the floor, as if trying to erase the traces. But neither the stench, nor the puddles, nor the cracks under the doors can wash away the most important thing. Meaning, determination, sacrifice. And this silence speaks louder than any cry. The final act of the drama unfolds within the white walls of a hospital ward. Doctors record every change. His heart is weakening, his bones are fragile, his internal organs are working overtime. A neatly served lunch stands on the bedside table, but he doesn't even look in its direction. In moments of weakness, he begins to see visions. His childhood, that very river, that calf, a symbol of suffering that once taught him compassion, but also determination. His condition becomes critical. He is bleeding profusely. Ulcers stain the sheets endlessly. He no longer hears the words of his loved ones, does not understand who is standing in front of him. Only his gaze remains alive, cloudy, but still stubborn. In an episode full of almost biblical symbolism, Bobby takes a bath. He notices a tattoo on the orderly's body, the abbreviation UDI, a symbol of a hostile militarized Protestant group. Even here, in agony, he comes face to face with his ideological enemy. Bobby makes an effort, stands up as if to say, "I stand even when I die." But he has no strength. He loses consciousness and falls. His enemy, the orderly, lifts him up so he doesn't drown. Bobby's last minutes pass in silence. He dies not with a cry, but with a memory. In his imagination, he returns to nature, to his childhood, to his friends. He becomes once again the boy who once drowned a calf out of pity. He is the one who took on suffering so that others would not suffer. His eyes fill with tears, but his body no longer responds. Bobby Sands dies on the 66th day of his hunger strike. His body is carried away on a stretcher, covered with a sheet. The end? Not quite. The film ends with a historical note. Bobby Sands was elected to the British Parliament during his hunger strike. His death caused a political earthquake. In just 7 months of hunger strike in prison, 9 prisoners died. During the same period, 16 prison guards were killed by IRA militants. In the end, the British government conceded on almost all points. Almost, because their status as political prisoners was not officially recognized. But in the hearts of millions, this status was cemented forever. Bobby Sands died. But his death became a voice louder than any slogan. If you found this interesting, like, share this video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about films that don't just tell stories, but strike right at the heart.